Okay. Okay, I'm going to call the meeting to order. This is the Genoa Township Board of Zoning Appeals. Today is August 24th, 2021. It is 7 p.m. We're meeting in the Genoa Township Hall at 5111 South Old 3C Highway in Westerville, 43082. And we have two agenda items tonight. Case number 2021-09, Eric and Wendy Barta for an area variance, which is first meeting. And then BZA case 2021-10, Brian Hess, area variance, and this is its first meeting as well. And I will call the roll at this time. Mr. Phillips.
Here.
Miss Yu.
Here.
Mr. Hanson.
Here.
And the chair is present. Absent, we have Dave Boone and Dorothy Driscoll. Okay. As the adopted policy of the Board of Zoning Appeals, all applicants will be granted an opportunity to make their formal presentation. The audience will then be granted an opportunity to comment, followed by questions from the board. This policy was adopted by the Board of Zoning Appeals to provide for the orderly discussion of business scheduled for consideration. The chairperson may limit repetitive debate, and that goes for both cases, but I doubt that that'll be an issue tonight. The first thing on the agenda is review and approval of the meeting minutes for the hearing held on May 25th, 2021. I'll give you a moment to refresh yourself with those, and then I will entertain a motion to approve. Okay, actually, I'll just make the motion to approve as presented. Does anybody have any revisions or anything? Mr. Phillips seconds. All in favor of approval of the minutes for May 25th, 2025, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions?
I'll abstain. I wasn't present for the meeting.
Okay. Motion carries. Let's see. All right. We are ready to go into our first hearing, and I want to make sure that the applicant understands that the board does not have a full, we normally have 5 members. Tonight we do not have a full 5-member board for the hearing, and we want to make the applicant aware that a majority yes vote of the city members is required for any motion to pass, which would be 3. The board extends an opportunity to the applicant to request a continuance of this hearing to the next meeting, which would be September 28, 2021, if you want to wait to see if we have a full 5-member board. And you guys are the first application. Are you okay with just the 4 members? Okay, great, thank you. At this time, I'll open the public hearing on the first case at 7:05 p.m. and read the legal notice into the record, and then I will have everyone who wishes to speak on the matter stand and be sworn in. So let me read the notice into the record, and then I'll swear you guys in. Eric J. and Wendy K. Barta requesting approval of a variance to allow an existing residence to encroach 1.9 feet into the required 30-foot front yard setback on lot 6197 of the Sherbrooke subdivision, 7225 Nightshade Drive, Westerville, Ohio, 43082, currently zoned planned residential PRD, and this is BZA case 2021-09. And those that wish to testify, please stand and raise your right hand to be sworn in. Does your husband want to?
That'll do it for us.
You sure?
Yep.
Okay. You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Great, thank you. We don't charge extra. Okay. The legal notice for this hearing was printed and published on August 11th, 2021 in the Delaware Gazette and posted at the Genoa Township Hall on August 10th, 2021. An attempt to mail notice of this hearing to property owners contiguous to and across the street from the subject property was also made. We have that we are marking as exhibits A through D, and we will start with staff report.
Thanks, Mark. So the property at, known as 7225 North Shade Drive is lot 6197 in the Sherbrooke subdivision, phase 10. The applicant is Eric and Wendy Barta, and they were the owners of the house when the application was submitted. And since the house has sold, so there's new owners there, but they were the owners when the application deadline, and it's my understanding that the new owners are here too, if they had any questions.
Okay.
So on June the 29th, the Development Zoning Office received an email from Kathy Mullins from Quality Choice Title, and she was asking if there was a variance on the subject property. And they had a survey generated for the sale of the property, and it showed several encroachments. And you guys had a copy of that email and that survey in your packet. So staff responded to Ms. Mullins via email on that same date, June 29th, 2021. And we stated that our records did not show a variance being granted for the subject property. We also stated that our records did not show permits being issued for the construction of a deck and an accessory building that were located at the rear of the house. The zoning records contained a survey which we had received on February the 11th, 2003, which showed that house compliant to all of the zoning setbacks. So based on that survey, staff had issued a temporary certificate of compliance on February the 24th, 2003. So our process is every new residence that's built, we require at the end of the build that the builder submits a survey to us so that we can compare what the original plot plan said, where they were going to locate the house. And then the survey, we compare that to make sure that it was built the way they said they were going to build the house. So in this case, the builder submitted us a survey. Evidently, there must have been some error in that, because when the title company had a survey done, it was showing that there were some encroachments. So since the house was in the process of being sold, another survey was done by the homeowners, and that survey showed then that the deck that had been built at the back of the house was compliant, but it still showed that the house itself, slight corner, the front corner of the garage, was still encroaching into the setback. So.
And the porch, or no? Because it looks like the porch and the garage in the front, based on what I'm, for this landmark survey.
I thought it was just the.
Yeah, it looks like it's just the corner of the porch, maybe.
Yeah, the newest survey, the original survey had both of them, but then the new survey just showed the garage.
Okay, this is the one from June, and then.
The one in July looks like they're both still encroaching.
So that would have been the one that was attached to the variance application form, July the 19th, 2021.
And there's another one since then?
That was so that would have been the third one. So the first one we got when the house was built, and then the second one, the title company, and then the third one that would have been the third one, would have been the July 19th one. I feel that that one's pretty accurate. I'm very familiar with that surveying company.
Susan, do you have that one in front of you, the July 19th one, survey?
That's.
You have that
spoiler,
attached
right?
to the application.
And it looks like the porch and the house both encroach.
Okay. They didn't give us a dimension there, though. So the variance would take care of both of those.
It will, both the porch and the garage.
Is that a covered porch? Does it have a roof on it?
Yeah, it looks like it does from the photo.
So the zoning regulations require, for the Sherbrooke subdivision and the zoning resolution require that the front setback is a minimum of 30 feet. So the variance request is needed to correct an error that was made by the builder and/or the surveyor at the end of that build process originally in 2003. So we submitted the application to the police, fire, and maintenance departments, and we received, none of them had any comments or concerns. We mailed out copies of the legal notice to all the adjacent property owners, and a notification sign was placed in the subject property on August the 12th, 2001. And we didn't have any neighbors or anyone inquire about the application.
Anybody have anything else for Susan?
Susan, just a quick question for the township's record. Should the application be amended to include that porch provision so that we go forward today, but your record's accurately reflected?
Yes, I think if you grant the variance for the garage, you could easily include the porch.
Okay.
Because it's the same section of the zoning resolution, so it could cover both, because we advertised the front encroachment.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
And it's not a new section of the code either. So.
Usually we have the builder in here on these. It's been a while. though.
20
Yes,
years.
it has been.
Yeah, it's been a little while. Okay, let's hear from the applicant.
I'm not sure I have much to add. As you mentioned, we've lived in this house since 2002.
Oh,
And
so you're the original owner?
we are the original owners. So
Okay.
this, as we're going through the selling process, this came to light, which is why we had the second survey done that's showing. That's actually a pin-to-pin survey. So I would say that this one is accurate based
Okay,
on.
the Hoy one.
Yep.
Okay.
So today, we're just asking for the variance to be approved for the encroachment of, I guess, both the porch and the garage. The garage is 1.9 feet into the 30 feet. I'm not sure what the porch is, but I would guess based on that, it's less than the 1.9 feet. And I'm happy to answer any questions. I think Susan covered it well.
Is this, no, this isn't. Okay. Oh, here we go. Yeah, it looks like the porch is actually the same or maybe even a little bit smaller. Depending, I mean, it's how it's drawn though. Interesting how we got here.
And as you mentioned, it would have been ideal for the builder to take care of this and present this.
Yeah, the last one of these, I've been on the board for a while, the last one of these that I've seen was the builder was sitting in your seat, so.
Yeah, unfortunately, this builder, so it was Dominion, is
Yeah.
now Pulte.
I know, you're not, yeah, and you're 18 years down the line.
Exactly.
17 years, whatever. Yeah, I absolutely get it. Okay, So, does anybody have any questions of the applicant? No?
Mark, I guess I'd like to hear from the new owners, just to make
Oh.
sure that they,
Sure. Did you guys get sworn in?
They didn't.
Oh, okay, one of you, come on by. We'll swear you in real quick. I haven't eaten a homeowner all day, so you'll be fine. Podium or there, either place is just fine. Go ahead and raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Great, thanks. And your name and address?
Daniel Sicantelli, current address 4114 Chelsea Square Avenue, apartment 308.
Okay, go ahead, Mark.
and Daniel, you and your wife purchased the new property, the subject property here tonight, is that correct?
Yes,
You're aware that the application has been submitted to the township and that that's what we're working on tonight?
yes, I am.
Okay. Do you agree with all the requests and so forth that are set forth in the application?
Yes, I do.
Okay. And you'd like to see the variance granted too, correct?
I do.
Okay, that's all. I just wanted to make sure you were on board.
Okay, I don't have anything. You guys have anything for it? Great. Have a seat. Welcome to the township. Okay. I don't think I have anything really to add. Like I said, I've only remember seeing one or two of these applications in the past. Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't think any of you guys were on the board when we saw one of these
I've seen a
last.
developer ask for, before they built the houses, for.
Yes,
relief,
right, we used to
but-
get that all the
Yeah.
time. But this, we did have one where what the process is supposed to be now, I don't know what it was until 2003, I understand is that they poured the slab and they were supposed to check it in relation to the easements. And that one was not checked. And the house was about 90% done when somebody decided it was too close. So that's why they were here. So it does happen. So anyway, we are, any public comments? Anyone from the public wish to make a comment? Nope, hearing none. All right, I guess we can go into the findings of fact and discussion. We need to go through Duncan versus Middlefield. Did you want to do that, Mark?
Sure, I'll take the first
Thank
one.
you.
Yeah. The board reviewed section 307.06 of the zoning resolutions reflecting Duncan v. Middlefield as it pertains to the area variance requested from section 909.01.b to allow for an encroachment into a required front setback in a planned residential development, which is a PRD zoning district, as follows. The first part of the Duncan versus Middlefield test is the property in question would yield a reasonable return, and there can be beneficial use of the property without the variance. The variance is not substantial, it's 1.9 feet.
Yeah, I think it's 6%.
6%.
6%, there you go, okay.
I like the
6%. The third prong, the essential character of the neighborhood would not be substantially altered, and the adjoining properties would not suffer a substantial detriment as a result of the variance. Again, we're saying, yes, that's the case, and we've heard from no neighbors to oppose it, so if they don't care, then that's certainly
And the house has been
plus.
there long enough to where if there was an issue. And
it
it's,
should have surfaced before
yeah,
this.
exactly my point.
Yeah. The variance would not adversely affect the delivery of governmental services. Again, I don't believe, Susan, we heard from anyone other than I did see an email that said from police chief that said he had no problem with,
We did hear back from
This property.
police, fire, and maintenance, and no one had any issues.
okay, good, good. The fifth prong, the property owner did purchase the property with knowledge of the zoning restriction. You may not have, but we're all charged with actual knowledge, or with constructive knowledge of what was going on. So this board typically takes a position that you did purchase it with that knowledge, even though you may not have.
And I'd like to add that they were under the belief that they were in compliance though as well.
True, yeah.
They're actually led to believe by the builder that it was in compliance.
At your closing, the builder had submitted an as-built survey,
That
and
was
no one
in
raised the
compliance.
issue with you at the time, so,
Yep.
right. the property owner's predicament cannot be feasibly obviated through a method other than the variance. The only option is to chop off that part of the house, and that's not,
Or move the street.
just not feasible.
There you go.
The spirit and intent behind the zoning requirement would be observed and substantial justice would be done by granting the variance. Obviously, it's to be practical in this best way we can as a board, so we do believe that it would be observed and substantial justice would be done. Having said that, you want me to move to the motion?
If you like. You're certainly welcome to, or I can.
Okay, how about it?
Oh, okay. The chair is going to move to incorporate exhibits A through D, as well as the board's findings pertaining to the review of section 307.06 of the Genoa Township zoning resolution into evidence, and to approve the requested variance from section 909.01B of the Genoa Township zoning resolution for BZA case 2021-09, application received July 19th, 2021, to allow for a house to encroach 1 9/10 feet into a 30-foot front setback on property known as is lot 6197 in Sherbrooke subdivision, 7225 Nightshade Drive, Westerville, Ohio 43082, which is zone plan residential PRD. The motion is based on the following findings of facts pursuant to section 307.04 of the Genoa Township zoning resolution, that that approval of the variance or modification will not be contrary to the public interest, that a literal enforcement of the zoning resolution will result in an unnecessary hardship because the homeowner, first of all, the homeowner had no knowledge of it. Second of all, until the title company did a survey that may or may not have been accurate, nobody had any knowledge that there was an easement, that a variance was required. That the approval of such variance or modification thereof is consistent with the spirit of the zoning resolution, and substantial justice shall be done because it's really, I think this is the only thing you can do here. And this is the kind of case is exactly why we're here, is to approve this type of variance. And I don't think we have any conditions. So that's the motion, and I'll entertain a second.
Second.
Second by Ms. Yu. Any further discussion? I'm going to call, oh, I'm sorry, go ahead. Call the roll. Okay. Mr. Phillips?
Yes.
Mr. Hanson?
Yes.
Ms. Yu?
Yes.
Chair votes yes. Motion carries. There you go.
Thank you. Good luck in your new house.
Okay. Oh, and we are concluded with this hearing at 7:25. Okay. Wow, what's going on here? Oh, sorry. Usually they yell at me because they can hear me too well. Okay, here we go. Okay, we ready to get started on the second case? You ready to go, Mr. Rez? Okay. And I'm going to, again, like I asked the previous applicant, as the board does not have a full 5 members for this hearing, we'd like to make the applicant aware that a majority yes vote of the sitting members is required for any motion to pass. The board extends an opportunity to the applicant to request a continuance of this hearing to the next meeting, which is on September 28th, 2021, if you wish to have the hearing with a full 5-member board. Are you ready to proceed, or would you like to continue?
I'm ready, swear me in.
Okay. All right, well, let's swear everybody in then. Anyone that would like to testify on this next application, please stand and raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Great, thank you. You guys can just watch now.
Well, the question is, if we don't know what the proposal is, accept it.
Why don't you guys stand up, get sworn in just in case, and then if you have questions, then you're there. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Great, thank you. Like I said, we don't charge extra for you to get sworn in, so join the fun. Okay, I'm calling this meeting to order at 7:26, and I'll read the legal notice into the record. Brian K. Hess requesting approval of a variance to allow an addition to encroach into the required 25-foot side yard setback on lot 1174 of the Purdy Industrial Park, 6269 Frost Road, Westerville, Ohio, 43082, currently zoned light industrial, and that's LI, and this is BZA case 2021-10. The legal notice for this hearing was printed and published on August 11th, 2021 in the Delaware Gazette and posted at the Genoa Township Hall on August 10th, 2021. An attempt to mail the notice of this hearing to the property owners contiguous to and across the street from the subject property was also made. The following are marked as exhibits A through E, which is the legal notice, the sign-in sheet, application, comments from the fire marshal, and the staff report dated August 20th of 21. And we will, and I understand Susan Dorich on behalf of the Genoa Township Development and Zoning Department will give an overview of exhibit E.
Thanks, Mark.
So we will go ahead and start with staff.
So the subject property is at 6269 Frost Road, and it is lot 1147 in the Purdy Industrial Park. The property is currently zoned light industrial, so it's a straight district. It's not a planned district. So according to the Delaware County Auditor site, Tattletale Portable Alarm Systems Incorporated purchased the building in 2016. The township issued zoning permit 2006-268 for the installation of a sign for Tattletales on June 12, 2006, showing that they have occupied the building since at least June of 2006. The auditor site currently lists the owner as 6269 Frost Road LLC, which is the subject property's address. Zoning permit 2018-065 was issued on April the 13th, 2018 for the installation of an above-ground fuel tank. And that application was submitted by Jordan Scholes for Scholes Landscaping. And if you remember, a variance for construction of a new building that was less than the required 100 feet from the rear property line was granted by the Board of Zoning Appeals on November 27, 2018. That was BZA 2018-07. And then the zoning office, Mr. Schaefer had issued zoning permit 2019-165 on June 19th, 2019, under zoning resolution section 307.10, which was in effect at the time that the zoning permit was issued, renders the permit to build the second building at the rear of the property void, as construction of the building was not started within 6 months of issuance of the said permit. the zoning resolution has since changed, and now that time frame is 1 year, but the permit would still be void even under the new zoning resolution. So the owner of Tattletales, Mr. Hess, contacted our office to determine the regulations for construction of an addition to the existing building on his lot. And during those conversations, it was determined that a variance would be needed due to the 25-foot setback required from the side property line, and that's Genoa Township Zoning Resolution, Section 1507.06. And that's the section that the variance is being requested from. So a couple things. Zoning Section 1505.04 reads that the total land occupancy for all buildings and impervious surfaces in industrial development cannot exceed 75% of the tract. The subject property does not most likely meet this standard, but this appears to be in a condition which has existed at the time the applicant purchased the property. Going back and looking at aerials, it looks like that's been the case for many, many years, even before Mr. Hess purchased the property. And the addition would not increase any impervious surface coverage. It would increase building coverage, but the area where he's proposing to place the addition is already a paved area, so building coverage would increase, but the impervious surface coverage would stay the same.
With the addition, would the building coverage be compliant then?
I don't know.
Okay.
We don't have that information to be able to make that
Gotcha.
determination.
Permission to speak?
Hold on. We're coming to you.
So section 1505.08 reads that no building, including accessory building, shall be located closer than 100 feet from a residential or a planned residential district boundary line. The proposed addition appears to meet this standard, but staff was unable to verify as a dimensional site plan was not provided. The applicant would have to demonstrate compliance at the time the zoning permit application or seek another variance if not compliant. 1507.10 reads that is for lot coverage, and it's on no lot in this zoning district shall structures be constructed which cover more than 35% of the lot area. And again, staff was unable to verify compliance from the information provided. The applicant, again, when they submitted for, if they are approved for the variance, they'd have to demonstrate compliance with that section before a zoning permit would be issued. In section 1503, is permitted accessory uses. So it's off-street parking and loading spaces. It needs to follow section 19 of the zoning resolution. And staff was unable to verify compliance from the information provided. And again, that would have to be demonstrated at the time a zoning permit was issued. A site plan was not provided with the application, so staff was unable to answer information regarding compliance with other sections of the zoning resolution, such as lot coverage, parking, etc. The applicant verbally informed staff that the expansion would be partially utilized for storage of classic cars, utilized by Tattletale for, I think, for the business. I think Mr. Schaefer said trade shows. The staff provided the application to police, fire, and maintenance. Police and maintenance departments did not have any comments or concerns, and the fire department had originally sent an email, and then today you guys received an email, and we gave you a print copy, and he gave some additional comments. We did not receive any inquiries about the application from any neighboring properties. If the variance request is granted, the applicant will be required to obtain approval from Delaware County for stored water management prior to our office issuing a zoning permit, and we would also require a parking plan to show compliance. Just a couple notes that Mr. Hess has indicated to staff that he's willing to abandon the previously granted variance, BZA 18-07. If the applicant wishes to propose this and the board finds it agreeable, staff recommends noting it as a condition of approval in the motion. Article 25 of the zoning resolution would regulate any legal non-conforming items, and any private covenants or bylaws would not have any bearing on zoning. Staff has verbally indicated, applicant has verbally indicated to staff that a portion of the northern property is being used by a landscape company. We have not had a change of use application approved by our office, and when doing research for this application, we noted on the aerials that there appears to be some type of storage structures constructed on the property. They look like you would see at Ohio Mulch, where they put their product in there, like their mulch, they're like concrete structures. And we did not issue any permits for those items either.
And where are those on the property at the north end?
Yes.
I have a picture right here, I'll be happy to show.
Yeah. So those items, we would investigate and take care of through our office, but just so you're aware.
The landscape business was there the last time we saw an application from the applicant, so.
But I thought he was gonna build over those.
Is that what it was? I
Yeah, I
can't.
thought it was gonna get, they'd have to move it to build where he was planning on building in the original.
That's a good picture.
Okay. Okay.
But
All
they're
right.
still there.
Anybody have any questions for Susan? Let's do it in kind of order here.
Yeah,
Anything for Susan? Go ahead.
I guess about the variance, you can just, we can cancel it. I didn't realize the variance could be canceled. The original
Well, he can,
variance.
if the applicant
They just have to promise not to
states
do
that
it.
he's going to surrender the variance, then you could accept that. Yes, and that would
Okay.
be on the record.
Okay, right, so basically the next property owner could discover, oh, there's this variance, and then build.
Correct.
Okay.
Okay.
Would he be in compliance if he surrenders the variance?
I'm
But
not
that's one that had to be
understanding the
within
question.
100 feet of the property line, so the building is built more than 100 feet from the rear property line, is that?
So this application is for an addition to the existing building, to the,
On the side.
yeah. So where
Right.
the arrow is, so it's in a totally different location. It's at the side of the building, the west side of the building.
Because originally he was going to build back.
Right in the,
Yeah,
back here.
right, there you go.
No, I think we're more
Even- yeah,
back
he
where
wanted-
farther back where the,
Like 25
Little-
feet off
yeah.
of that
Okay,
back
yeah.
line.
back there.
So that's what I mean, those,
35 feet.
those structures would have been gone, but they're still there. They,
So what I'm
They're here
talking
in
about
Class
is the things
3.
over to the west side.
oh, those.
Yeah,
Oh,
those are new.
cars. Oh.
They're like little,
Bins, I
little,
guess.
yes.
Storage
concrete
areas
bins.
for loose stock. But from this property line at the bottom to the building is more than 100 feet. Is that what originally it was, 100 feet?
Yeah, the building as it exists now is a lot more than 100 feet from that rear property line. And the addition, I believe, would be also compliant.
So it's really just the west side setback that we're concerned with.
I believe so.
Okay.
Right, you'll just have to deal with those other buildings at another time.
Correct.
Yeah.
We will.
Well, yeah, no, right, that's not, we don't have to bring that up and do
Correct.
anything about it now, is what I'm saying.
Okay.
Okay.
Anything else, Mark? Tracy? No. Okay. Mr. Hass?
So much has been said, I don't know if I should go back and start at the beginning or just tell you what I was gonna tell you. when I
You start wherever you want to start.
Okay, good. First thing is, folks in the back room have come over, and they will attest, that we, have fixed the place up tremendously well with lots of landscape, and we haven't messed around with any grass. And do you have the pictures that I emailed you, sir?
No,
What happened?
I have pictures on here, if you want, like, different picture, I can pull them up.
Pull them up on this.
What do you want?
Oh, that's good. No, that's not it. Keep going.
Which one do you want?
The one that has the picture of the place looking so good. And so you don't have that. What happened to the one that I sent you? It's a picture of the front of the place with trees, lights, irrigation, landscape.
Did you just send it now?
No, my dear, it's been done for over a year and a half. But I don't mind showing it off to you guys because
Oh, there you go.
That's a start. No, that's the daytime picture. Where's the nighttime picture?
Well, we're not doing anything in the front, right? I'm sure it's really nice, but that's not what we're here for. I mean,
That's why I'm here.
to do something to the front? Okay.
No, but I would like to have my time. I listened for quite a while. We had the folks over in the back here, and they love the way the place looks, and they have a high confidence that I'm not gonna do anything to hurt the property or them as neighbors. And if you go back to the first drawing that was up there that shows the back of the place, and I think I should be able to have some pictures of mine up there, part of my presentation. So originally what we were going to do is put a building back here 35 feet off that would face east and west. Because these guys have grown so much and they're good tenants, we decided not to do it. And if we put a building back here, it would eat up a lot of space. You got the rest of the pictures?
I don't have pictures, you didn't send them to us early enough for me to put them up there. I can't add them back.
Okay. So we didn't, so we,
Recording, so you have, if you move up to there, you have to take one.
okay, thanks.
Does he
So-
have that pointer? Could he stay there and don't we have a pointer?
It doesn't work.
I was gonna say, I don't think the pointer
It
works
doesn't work
on
on
the,
a TV.
on the
Oh,
screen.
it doesn't?
Yeah.
To enter into your evidence is the police, not the police chief, but the fire chief, and the other fellow was by there today. And this is their take. You have this?
I think, well, let's see what you got here. We probably have a variation of it.
Thank you.
Yeah, we got it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. So what we discovered was we weren't going to build anything in the back because it would really mess things up. So I appreciate the variance. I came down in good faith and I met with Joe. And Joe said, if you get this other thing you want, are you willing to give up on that piece in the back? And I said, yes. So that's true. So under oath, that's absolutely true. On the side piece, because we don't have pictures of the front, you can't see this, but if you look at this drawing on this diagram right here, and I wasn't told I had to have any paperwork or pictures done early, otherwise I'd have happily gotten them for you. But here is something for you. You want to, I don't know if I got enough for you, but I got 2 of them. And what's happened with Tattletale has been quite amazing. When I saw you guys in 18, it was before COVID, and I'd come down afterwards, and Joe did sign a permit with me, and I can produce it for the court, but you should know that he told me that my deal didn't expire until this October. Doesn't matter. I'm not going to build that thing out there because it would hurt the back property. Now, what we thought we would do, and by the way, when I saw this, when I saw you guys in 18, I think we were maybe at 3 million in sales, and we've gone to 6. And the real reason these guys need this space is this quadrant right here has to be set up for more manufacturing and more filling for orders. And it's true, I do a lot of trade shows, and some of them that I do for car shows. I have a 57 Olds, and I have a 67 Grand Prix convertible. I don't need to put my cars in there, Deputy Susan. I can move them somewhere else, but they are part of my business. And that space is needed for more Tattletales. So this product right here is going to roll out at $399, and it's going to go for $9.95 a month. I think we're going to do 100,000 units. And when we started looking at the building, my natural intent would be to come to see Joe or Susan and tell them what I want to do. And what do you think? And we've gotten into where we can not touch the building and have it be 10 foot off the line. And that would look weird. Then if we follow the building codes, as you can see in the diagram, we would have a garage attached to this that would be 11 feet off, and it would look like a tunnel. It would look like somebody ran out of money and added it on after the fact. The right thing to do, as the police, not the police, but the fire chief had recommended, is on that one drawing, there's actually a drawing of it away from the wall. It leaves a 3-foot gap and takes us to the 10 foot. There's one with it attached, and then there's another one with it attached. And the one that's attached, that's a very small one, is a tunnel, and this is the one that they actually recommend. And this is what it would look like. It's not going to take up any grass. We're going to leave everything perfectly intact. And we just need more room. So that brings me here today. Merely asking to expand.
So which one are we approving then?
Drawing C.
And that's 5.2 feet,
Is that even
rather than the
this,
8
or no?
that's in the application?
No, it's that from the building all the way out to the property line, sir. It's 36 feet. And
Does that say 5'2"?
That says 52.
52. Okay.
this, if we just attach this to the building, we can have something that's 11 foot wide. But it would look very bad.
Your microphone?
Pardon?
The microphone.
Sorry about that. If you could imagine, it would look ridiculous to have 11-foot building on the side there. It'd look like this. And that's in one of your drawings. If we separate it 3 feet away, we're allowed to come to 10 foot off the line. That would look silly. And there's something about it being disconnected from the building that the fire guys don't like. And I don't know if they think debris would get in there, but I'm purely looking at it from functional and aesthetics. No building out back. Add that little side piece. Please and thank you.
Where do I start? Okay, I'm going to, bear with me a second. I'm going to ask a couple of questions that might be obvious to everybody, but they aren't to me. 52 by 28, correct?
Is it 26 or 28?
It says 28.
I think it's supposed to be 26.
Okay. What's the distance? And this is the property line here? This line is the property line?
No,
No.
that's
What's
one,
this
that's one
line?
of the photos that I needed to show you, is it's way out there. 36 feet's way out here. So if you look at the driveway,
So, hold on. So the property line is 36 feet from here?
all the way
existing
over,
building?
yes, sir, that's
So
correct.
it's 36, well, hold on. Then you're going to be 28 out, and you've got 36 to the property line, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so actually what you've got is 28, you've really only got 8 feet, correct? Between the building and the property line.
Well, 36 minus 28
Well,
is
if you're
what?
36 over here,
Well,
on the
it's from
existing
this
building.
building here all the way to the property is where it
Right,
stops
is
on my side.
36. If you build out 28, you're going to be 6 feet, or 8
8
feet,
feet.
sorry.
8 feet instead of 10.
Right,
Yeah, and we can always shrink that.
okay, okay.
We can shrink it to 26 and
here's
put it
the
right
other
on the
thing.
10-foot line if you want, but I'd like the
Here-
extra
Here's
space.
the other thing that I want to say on behalf of the board, is that, and I think you've been here a couple times before us, so I guess, forgive how this sounds, but I'm not going to tell you what building to build. I'm not going to tell you what size building to build. You know what conforms, you know what doesn't conform. The fire department has said they like C. Me, I like A through C. I don't care, it's your building. I'm not using it. You need to come to us, site plan, building plan, development plan, and tell us what you're gonna build, as opposed to us coming to a consensus here and saying, well, here, do this, this, this. That's not what we do here. And you've been here, you know that. You should know that. I'm a little surprised because, you know, there's no site plan, you know, compliance with off-street parking, I mean, compliance with the zoning permit to seek another variance, which we've already handled, I think. You know, building coverage. I think there's a lot of unanswered questions, and in my mind, I think we had this issue before, and that's why we did a continuance on the original variance application. Just my 2 cents, but that's what I just see on the top of my head, so.
Mark, I guess I would agree with you. When I looked at the staff report, there's 4 incidents where they said they weren't provided with enough information to make
Right.
certain
And
conclusions.
that is, I mean,
And I think that's
That's
information
troubling.
we need as a board
Right.
coming from,
I can't summarily say, well, build it 25 feet wide and 52 long, and it'll be inside of this easement or that easement, and we'll approve it. That's not what we do.
I'd like to have your attention, sir. I came down here in good faith. You haven't even heard the stuff that I've needed to say, but long and short of it is, when you come down here in good faith and ask what to come, I was never asked to bring a site plan. I wasn't even asked to do that. As a matter of fact, I was coached that my cars weren't a part of my business, while that woman has a 67 GTO. I don't think you guys realize, this to me was all extra. This was all extra. The only thing they ever asked me to do is get this. I can build a building there and leave it away from the wall. I'm coming down here in good faith. If you want me to get stuff, I'm happy to do it. The continuance we had last time is because it was such a ruckus to get it done. And during COVID, it didn't make any sense to do it. The guys expanded out back. I'm not going to build that building. I was asked, will you surrender that option? And I was told by Joe I had till October to execute on it. I was told by Susan that it expired, that Joe misspoke. These are when I come down twice just to fill out the questions, because really, truthfully, as a CEO and an inventor, I don't understand the questions. I've offered to get a lawyer. I've offered to get whatever I got to do, whoever I got to have. But coming down here in good faith is all I've ever done. And that drawing wasn't expected or asked of. There was nothing asked of me to do. So I feel your pain, sir.
Hang on. Well, okay. Just let me explain. I'm a
I got it.
resident. I don't do
totally
this
get it.
every day. I have a real job. I do this because I want to do this. And I appreciate where you're coming from. I appreciate the frustration, okay? But, again, I can't, in good conscience, I've sat on this board for 11 years. I can't pick this for you. You have to pick this for you.
It's picked right there, and I want you to understand this, sir. I'm in the manufacturing of American-made products, and I need the space. And I would think that we'd all be happy that I'm down here in good faith. I don't have to attach it to the building. I can build that 10-foot off of that line and never touch that building and not have to be here. I'm here because I want the building to always look good. So help me God. That's the only reason I'm here.
Okay.
Susan,
And I got a job too. I got 17 employees.
Susan, he continues to reference 10 feet off line. Isn't it a 25-foot?
No, sir.
Am I missing something?
So the standard for the principal building is 25 feet from the side property line. If it's an accessory building, which accessory to the business, then it could be 10 feet from the property line. It's still from the side property lines. The current code now says it still has to be 100 feet from the rear. That was changed with our newest.
That's not an issue. It's the side that is the issue. And what's the side? Still 25?
Correct.
Okay.
It's 10 if it's not touching, correct?
If it's an accessory building.
Yeah, it's 10.
Accessory is 10 feet from the side property.
And gentlemen and miss, that's exactly what I was told. And I come down here tonight, and I've been to this office. And I want you to know, when I come expecting some help and good faith, tell people what you want to do. I don't like walking into things that aren't prepared.
Nor do I.
So, right, so I guess
I'm with you, I
then,
feel your pain.
but then how much of a variance are we approving?
Here's,
I don't know.
here's,
Right, that's what I mean. I mean, what are you asking
Here's the
for?
request, you're right, your math is correct, sir, it's 8 feet. All right, it's 8 feet. And if you want
All
me
right,
to
so-
shrink it to 26 feet and get a site plan, I'll come back another day.
You
I don't
tell
want you
us.
I don't want you to do,
I'm happy to do it.
I'm not going to dictate the size of your building. I'm not going to dictate that. The application is what the application is. And the way that it works is the application is what it is, and we approve it or not, essentially. My suggestion to you would be, and I'm going to say this out of turn, the board may or may not agree with me, would be to address items C, D, E, F
And what are those, sir?
in the staff notes, which I assume that Susan has or will provide you. And I mean,
They were emailed to me? Correct. I'd like to see it. You asked me to come here with a site plan in my one visit with you and 2 with Joe? I'd like a straight answer.
yeah,
When you were filling out your application on the submittal day, I suggested that you should provide a site plan with dimensions on it, the distances to the property line. Yes, that is correct.
And did I respond that I would hire Alan Bumpus to do a drawing? And you didn't tell me to show up with site plans. You told me to get this together. This is what I had my last time.
This is what you submitted with your application.
No. When I first come down here and spoke with Joe, and that fell in the back room, that's not true. I didn't have that at all. Guys, I'm happy to get you what you need, but I'm gonna tell you one thing. I come down here in good faith.
I don't have any reason to think that you did
Man, I'm not pleased with this. And there's other things I would like to just get it on the record that was my experience down here. Like someone telling me that cars aren't a part of my business. When we do trade shows for Tattletale, it's wrong to tell me what my kind of business is. It's just flat out wrong.
Right, like it would be wrong for me to tell you what kind of building.
Yes,
you're
but when you
building.
come down here and you're straight with people and you think you're coming prepared and you're not, and they're not working with you, and they humiliate and say, we're not gonna give you the answers. Look, I could hire somebody to come down and do this. I don't wanna come down and do this with you guys. It's not what I do. And then, I mean, forget it. It's not what I do.
With all due respect, you should come here with professionals.
Yes,
We're tired of you talking down to us, at least I am.
I'm not talking down. I apologize if it comes across that way.
Well, that's how it's coming across.
Happy to come with professionals.
Well, as I said, my opinion, and I'm only 1 out of 4 votes here, my opinion is that we've got several issues here that need to be addressed prior to me being comfortable with
It's
approving
okay,
the variance.
that's all right, guys. Hey, you win, Susan. Good luck. I don't need to do it. It's that simple. Forget it. Thanks for the setup, Susan.
There's nothing in your drawings to.
Okay, well,
So we need to make a motion?
Yeah, motions, just forget it. You guys think I'm talking down to them? I'm not talking down to people.
here's what I would, I'll make a motion. I'm gonna make a motion to continue the application to September 28th. Give the applicant a chance, an opportunity to revise his application so it's in a form and a matter that it's understandable, it's approvable, it's understandable. And then we can go from there and give everybody a chance to take a breath here.
I'll second the motion.
Okay? That's not part of the motion, though. Take a breath. All right, so, anyway, and I'm doing this more for the applicant than, and he doesn't think so, but I'm doing it more for the applicant than anybody else.
Thank you. Now, who may I hire? Who's a professional? Who do I hire?
I can't,
We haven't taken comments.
hang on. You know what, let me vote on the continuance, and I will allow one question if it's for the board. Okay. All in favor of continuing the application until September 28th? Okay, I'll call the roll. Mr. Phillips?
Yes.
Miss Yu? Yes. Mr. Hanson? I thought I said September 28th, 7 PM at the Township Hall. I apologize. I thought I clarified. And the chair votes yes. So we are continuing the application, Mr. Hess. You may want to revisit it with staff. And the member of the public, the one member that would like to ask a question, you can come to the podium and give me your name and address for the record, and then we'll do our best to answer your question.
Yeah, I'm Kathy McCombs. I live at 6326 Mount Royal Avenue. I'm in the condos, right
Sure.
back up to that.
Uh-huh.
I got the letter, and I guess I'm confused as to why I got a letter about it.
Because of your proximity to the subject property.
Okay, so I actually went over, when I got this letter, I did want to go over it, and I met Mr. Hess.
Okay.
And he showed me, and that's exactly what he wants to do. So
Okay.
I guess I don't understand what you need from Mr. Hess. I mean,
Well, as an observer, I guess it's not really incumbent on you to understand the application in total. It really is more incumbent on us, and we need a lot more information so that we can make an informed and understand the application and make an informed decision on behalf of the township. Because what we do here, it impacts your property values, my property values, and the township in whole. And that's what our mission is to protect the township.
and that's why I went over to see him when we
I
got this, because
Absolutely
back in
understand.
2018,
Mhm.
with that, I was very glad that he didn't build that building. So I was thankful. So when
I was
he
sitting
came,
right here.
yeah. So when he came, I went over and I talked with him. I was very happy to see what he was going to build, and it seemed like it was going to be
I-
very nice. And so I just wanted to say my piece.
I
But
appreciate
thank you.
that. Thank you.
If I could comment? We do have specific parameters. You two discussed the concept for the most part, but we have parameters that we have to follow to make it an objective decision versus subjective. Obviously, you liked what you saw. He made a great presentation to you, and we're glad. We want to see those things move forward. But we have certain criteria that we must make sure that it's complied with, or if not, why we think that it should vary from that. And that's all we're asking, is that we didn't get enough information tonight, and we'd like Mr. Hess to take an opportunity over the next month, maybe visit with Sharon or Susan and see what she actually would recommend that he do, so that the next time he comes in, he gives us all the data that we need to make a decision.
Right, because you have to remember one thing, that we had a choice to approve, continue, or deny the application. We could have summarily said, based on the information, I don't have enough information, I'm going to deny the application. That could have been the way it went too. So I believe, and I've sat in this chair a little while, I believe, help the homeowner. You saw the first homeowner that came in. You help the resident, help the business people here as much as I possibly can, and make it fair for everybody, and give them an opportunity to be heard. And I think I gave everybody an opportunity. We're just saying that we need more information, that's all. And the staff report outlines exactly what we need. And that's all, that's really all this comes down to.
So Mark, there's a page in the application form that's called like a checklist submittal form, and that
Yes.
lists the items that are to be submitted with the application. Outside of that, it's a liability for staff to
I understand it is.
answer the Duncan versus Middlefield questions.
I wouldn't
or,
ask you to anyway.
Specify what is supposed to be
Sure.
included with the application.
I don't think that any reasonable person that's applying should need to be walked through Duncan versus Middlefield. It's part of the application. Everybody does it. And then we do it. May or may not agree with what the application says. But I think it's that yardstick that we have to use to make a decision. And I appreciate what staff's position is you can't spoon feed them.
Right,
either,
and
the
we don't
applicant.
vote, and we don't have an opinion.
Right.
That's up to the board.
And like I said, really the only
And that's
thing.
where you're misrepresenting things under oath. You do have
Okay,
opinion.
I think I'm going to draw the meeting to a close at 8:07. Just the
Second.
hearing's closed at 8:07. And then, do we have any other business on the agenda tonight? I don't think so.
I don't see any.
Okay, then I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, we are adjourned.